You know, I know if you can be any boy live. Yeah, me and him correspond. But when he come to tell with me baby.
So is he your baby father?
No, my baby father did. Oh. But it's true because when we have baby, me and him did in a relationship in timely. Me never beg him nothing. Me never did have to beg him nothing. Him take care of my baby. No, so. You know what I'm saying? No, yeah, me used to run away when me little. But when me 15, then after me a baby, can me breathe early. Me not afraid to talk that. And me and him talk from me at 15. Me at 19 now. And me a tell her say. Me used to run away because me can't take pressure. As soon as my mother catch up, before me answer me run away. I just some but they can't say me run away a man. They can't say me run away catch up problem there I know. I always friend me there, me no come on. And true my mother knows that him alone me used to listen to. My mother knows that him alone me used to listen to. My mother used to tell him say, call me and beg me to come back in her yard. Me not gonna lie. Me not say she deserve it, me not say she deserve it, but in the midst of everything she wrong too. She wrong because she live way a job money while you walk from job money come down at Havana Heights to go fight. And them a party and you bust it woman head and run.
Que pasa, sapa, say what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. Like I've always said, there's always 3 to 4 sides to every story. I am speaking about an incident at a corner place called Dembe. Dembe is in Clarendon, where it is said that a 14-year-old girl, she was beaten very badly. To this date, at least 7 persons are person of interest suspect and are to be charged for the BRUTAL BEAT down of this 14-year-old. There's a lady, 50-something, there's one that is 30-something, and then 22-year-old, and then there are 3 girls, one 17, 16, 15, and then a youth that is 17. So 7 people so far has been charged or are suspects in this. When this incident occurred, there are conflicting stuff. The side of the Popo came out, and the side of the Popo said that the motive in this is some sorts of love triangle. Not because of the 14-year-old, but the 14-year-old's mother, and then a child that is the child of one of the person that were also charged, I think the 56-year-old. The mother of the 14-year-old always also came out and gave her side of the story and said, well, she don't know of being any sorts of problem with anybody. This might be because of some sorts of man. That man is a soldier man. The soldier man also did an interview with the Jamaican Observer, and him say yes, he was in operation at the time in the era, and he found a young girl. She was 15 at the time, maybe 4 years ago, and she was a runaway. He took her back to the house. However, people, it seems as if there's more to this story than meets the eye. It seems as if this relationship was bigger, more sexual than just some sorts of father or Jesus-like figure. I am not going to get into that today, but it seems as if something is suspicious with that. There's more than meets the eye. So in this interview in which this girl did, which would be girlfriend number 2, I'll call it, or they call it on the news, the interview with TVJ. The audience from the interview on TVJ give credit where credit is due. She pretty much is saying that, yes, this girl and I had issues before. However, it is not because of any sorts of love triangle. Yes, I met the soldier man that is in relationship with the mother of the 14-year-old. However, this has nothing to do with that. It has to do with other stuff that has been going on social media. Based on what she is saying is that the mother of the 14-year-old, she was in some sorts of conflict with her next girl on social media and then bring it in the streets in her real life. There was even an incident in which some sorts of phone get messed up or mash up, some sorts of conflict with the 14-year-old and her next girl, and then some sorts of board was used and the phone get damaged on top of the mother in a conflict with some other girl. This girl was pretty much trying to clear herself of everything, even though her mother, I think, was the mother with the spatula. Don't quote me on that. I know that the mother is one of the 3 adults that are suspect or charged or waiting to be charged. She even said that this girl left from where she is, a place named Jack something another, don't remember. And she came to Havana Heights. Pretty much she walked into the belly of the beast. Now I don't know if you remember in one of those videos that is making its round on social media, you heard a little boy with the girl or the lady, the mampy with the spatula, was saying, yeah, she bust up my sister head. So this lady is now saying, meaning girlfriend number 2, mate number 2, side chick or whatever you want to call it, that this girl, the 14-year-old, is not such an innocent victim. She actually walked into the belly of the beast, left from where she was at the safety, and came to Havana Heights to pick some sorts of FIGHT with another person, the next young girl. So people, we are seeing now that there's always 2 to 3 sides of the story, and that the 14-year-old might not be as innocent as we think. The mother of the 14-year-old might not be as innocent as we think. However, it does not give anybody any sorts of justification to do what we saw on those videos. So therefore, we cannot give her any sorts of pass. The disturbing thing about this interview that this lady did, even though most of it was disturbing, is when she was asked, are you sorry for what happened to the 14? She said, I am not going to say that I am sorry, and I am not going to say that I am not sorry, because she is no innocent victim, meaning the 14-year-old. She is just as guilty as the rest of people, because there was all sorts of conflict on social media, came into the street, different incident, not the first time. This is not the first time, so therefore this is a spin-off, and again, no sorts of justification for it. So in other words, there was no sorts of remorse for this girl getting clottings. Now what I've realized, what is the problem in a lot of these communities, is that these adults are just as immature, just as barbaric, just as vicious, just as dunce as the little young girl that are out there, FIGHTING over COCKY. So therefore, the mother, the granny, the brother, the sister, the daughter, everybody involved because of some sorts of squabble. Petty stuff on social media over some sorts of man or over some sorts of petty-ish or all of the above. One thing that I find very disturbing is this soldier man, like I said before earlier in the video. This man claimed in his interview that he did with Observer, I am speaking about the man that is the reason for most of this, that yes, he is a JDF soldier, and yes, he was on some sorts of operation in the era, and this girl told him he heard her sad story and he brought her back home. However, based on what this girl is saying in the interview that she did, yes, I was 15, I am now 19 at the time, 19 right now, 15 at the time. We was in some sorts of relationship with the man in question. And yes, I did not have to ask him for anything. He gave me stuff. He was a kind man. I was in a relationship. So people, are we to assume that this man was like some sort of father how long, or this man was also showing her his how long as a little 15 going to 19-year-old? Don't know how old the soldier is. However, I know that the mother of the 14 look like she about 40 or 50 something. She look like she have some sort of hard life. Unless the picture that I've seen is not her. Me just a say. So we have to ask the question, what is wrong with these people, including the mother, including the 14-year-old? Like I said, at the end of the day, she is the victim in all of this. Regardless of what had happened in the past, the video that we saw, regardless of the motive or who initiated, instigated it, there will be no sorts of justification for the royal BEAT down that we saw. But in all of this, the problem is the mentality of a lot of these people in this garrison. Like I've always said, don't start no ish, won't be no ish. If you're not entangled in a dirty bungle, more than likely you will be okay. Whenever you dance with the devil, you are pretty much going to get FUCK. So all of these people have been going through their drama. It escalated before in the community, and then it escalated to a furthest extent here, and this is exactly what we saw. So at the end of the day, this explains this garrison mindsets. And when I speak, I do not speak for all, I speak in general. With these people living in a dysfunctional community, dysfunctional home, where the parents, if the parent is not a child having a child, then the parent have immature, childlike characteristic. So therefore, the blind is leading the blind. So therefore, this child tell you she had a baby at age 15. She has run away on many occasions. She is not ashamed to say she have a baby when she was 15. She was not ashamed to say, yes, me in a relationship with a very older man. He was not only taking care of me financially, so maybe it is because she wanted to make sure, or the family wanted to make sure, that they secure that bag or that finance that was coming from this soldier. So therefore, they were going to do everything and anything to get rid of the opposition or whomever they deem to be some sort of conflict in other way of that bag, of that money. People, don't you realize that the devil always finds work for idler? If most of these people were gainfully employed, educated, could sustain or live on their own, have some sorts of independence, more than likely they would not be out here doing all of these idle, dysfunctional, destructive stuff. Now people, whenever stuff like this happens, we get the response from the mother. We get the response from the popo. We get the response from the Child Protective Agency. And of course, we're going to get the response from the politicians, meaning your Prime Minister, Mr. Andrew Holness. And yes, it is the right thing to do. He has to come out and he has to represent for the victim. And he has to talk about what is the problem in our society at large and what is causing this. And when you and I saw this video, we know that maybe it is not the worst that we've seen. However, it is up there with the worstest of them. So therefore, take a listen, take a look to what your Prime Minister, Mr. Andrew Holness, has to say, and then I'll give my piece.
I was very distressed by this kind of savage violence being unleashed on a child by adults who seem to have no faculty of understanding that this is something that shouldn't be done. And even after they were being taken away, they seemed to be as if they did nothing wrong. It's confounding to me how people can be so brutish to each other. It is worrisome.
Now people, you and I know, you and I saw everything. This is the heights of being barbaric. This is the heights of being brutal. This is the heights of the worstest of the worstest that we can see. To one of our most vulnerable groups in a society, meaning the little picnic them. Nobody wants to see anything like this, whether it is a picnic versus a picnic, whether a boy versus girl, especially when we realize and see that this was a 14, whatever happened, whatever initiated it, whoever started it, it is not relevant. It is not important. There is no sorts of justification for what we saw. This is the heights of adults and picnic and the whole community pretty much GANGING against one little 14-year-old because of something her mother allegedly did, because of some sorts of squabble on social media, because of somebody HEAD getting BUSSED up. Now you heard that side chick, our girlfriend number 2, I say she shouldn't come in at the era. The last time that I checked, in a democratic society, you are free to walk wherever you want to walk. However, we see with this gangster mentality, this turf mentality, people are going to tell you, don't come around here, so especially if we have problem with your friend, your family, Quaker, you might get a royal BEAT down. The Prime Minister is letting you know that yes, this is the heights of barbaric, disturbing behavior that we've seen being perpetuated all over society, especially against our young people. These people, like most persons saw, were actually celebrating in the back of the Popo Jeep when the Popo come to lock them up because of something that they did that was very disturbing. People, see, them people are sick, them head no good. However, the problem is that in a society, the leader themselves are lost. The leader themselves don't see incidents or stuff like this as a priority. Everybody is out hustling. There is no sorts of reason, and people like me say, the mindset of the people in a certain era is different. However, the mindset or the whole thing could have been changed had we had the proper representation, as in politicians that are not here hustling, enrich themselves and then leave and not caring about the person, leave people in a poverty. However, it is no sort of excuse for that type of brutish behavior. But me just say, it is a trickle-down effect from bad policies, poverty, mindset of the garrison. Everything come together and people will see what it is. It is like a ticking time, BOMB. And sometimes it EXPLODES in a real life and upon social media, as is the case in this case, point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. And last but not least, please subscribe to my next channel. It is called Jamaica Dancehall Source. I'll be pinning the link to that channel in the description of this video. Bless up.